Hello and welcome to Elecspo, and it's time to talk about free agents. But not just any free agents, because using the Football Manager 2021 editor, I've done something I've never done before, and honestly I'm not really sure how it'll even work out. But I've gone through all 20 Premier League clubs and released every single player there. From first teamers to youth players, that's at least like 1,000 people who are suddenly out of the job. So what I want to do is simulate a year into the future, see who goes where, see what difference it'll make to the Premier League table. I'm going to look through all 20 Premier League clubs, as well as focus on a few individual players who might have gone abroad. All this simulation will go tits up and the Premier League will be a shell of its former self with fake players I can't even look at. Either way, let's go, let's see what happens. Okay, so here we are at the start of the simulation, the 27th of July 2020. I've done a quick player search of players who are unattached, they don't have a contract, and it is just a sea of Premier League players. You can see Lucas Fabianski there, João Moutinho, Kamil Grishicki, Gini Wijnaldum, Paddy Van Aanholt, loads of players, Aguero's there. Literally everyone who's got a contract at a Premier League club has been released. But in a year's time, where will they be? Will some of them even still be free agents? Let's simulate a year into the future. Let's see what happens to the Premier League. Right, here we are, the 31st of May 2021. We've gone a year into the future and Man City have still won the Premier League. They've got 99 points to come top of the pile. They were 10 clear of Man United, who came second. Then you got Chelsea, and rounding out the top four was Liverpool, which is, to be honest, where the praying will be at the end of the season. Wolves did really well, that's a surprise. Tottenham and Arsenal. Tottenham won the battle of the North London clubs. Going down was Villa, Sheffield United and West Brom. Newcastle overperformed, Leicester underperformed, West Ham not doing as well as they did in reality. In fact, if you look at the points, Burnley in 12th got 41 alongside Fulham. 40 points is normally what you need to survive. This year it was only 29. 29 points kept Southampton in the top flight. But if you have a look at the stats here, it is a wash with new players. Bobby Firmino won the Golden Boot at Man City. He was the best player in the league alongside Declan Rice, also at Man City. Sander Berge did well for Chelsea. Edouard Mendy, clearly the number one at Man City, 20 clean sheets. Dean Henderson, 9 Man of the Match awards for Everton. Yuri Tielemans, also shining at Man City. So based on that, it looks like Man City have just cropped up some exceptional talent and put together a wonderful team. Obviously I released all the players, but I didn't change the managers. All the 20 managers have remained the same. Well, they were at the start of the season. A lot of them have probably been sacked now because that's what always happens on Football Manager. But basically what's happened is the Premier League's been given a new lick of paint. It's like when the WWE do a draft and everyone swaps from Raw to SmackDown. The only difference is all the big names have gone to AEW here. Little analogy there for some of you that will mean nothing to probably most of you. But the ones who enjoy it, they'll especially enjoy it. I'm going to look at the title winners Man City. Let's have a look at their squad. It is a very, very streamlined squad for Pep Guardiola. Alex McCarthy, the number one, defends. I mean, there's no right back and there's a centre back missing. So I think what's happened, there's been a slight flaw in this simulation because everyone has been released, meaning every club has had no players. So they'll probably use, like the fake players when they're grey and you can't click on them. They must have used them because there's no way. Oh no, hang on, I've got this wrong. Well, no, that is true anyway. I was going to say Alex McCarthy can't have been the number one if he only played 11 times, but obviously he wasn't the number one because Edouard Mendy was. But Man City also got Harry Maguire, Andrew Robertson. They've arrived from rival clubs. Bobby Firmino's come from Liverpool as well. Tielemans from Leicester. Declan Rice. Diego Llorente played 52 times, which is pretty surprising considering he can't keep himself fit at Leeds. From Leicester, they've got Harvey Barnes. But that is about it. Is there anyone in the under-23 squad of note? No one's sticking out there. Obviously, most of these players have arrived on frees. They spent £1.5 million on Cleaver Thagia from Alianza, which is great, I guess. But Manchester City, top of the pile. I wonder who won the FA Cup, just out of interest. The League Cup was won by Manchester United. And the FA Cup was won by Brentford. That is quite a surprise. But if we have a look at Man United here, Dominic Livakovic in goal, so they obviously haven't got Dean Henderson and David De Gea anymore, but they've got the Croatian, which is pretty good. Ruben Dias come from City, so Man United and Man City have basically swapped centre-backs. And Man United have got the better end of the deal getting Ruben Dias. They've also got Kaglar Soyuncu, Jack Harrison's come from Man City, Eberechi Eze, Gabriel Jesus from Man City, And they've got Adama Traore playing up front. I mean, it's no wonder they didn't win the title. Why would you play Gabriel Jesus on the left and Adama Traore up front? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you're an absolute madman. One thing I'm quite surprised at is the amount of players that have gone to rival clubs. Man United have got Ruben Dias, Jack Harrison and Rodri, who've all come from Man City, and Gabriel Jesus, so that's 4 players. Let's check Liverpool out, see what's happened there. Jurgen Klopp's still the manager, Kurt Zouma's the captain, Ruben Neves the vice-captain. Not a lot of names have arrived at Anfield. Andrei Lunin on loan from Real Madrid, Shola Shortire and Liam Delap. But the only first team big names are Ruben Neves and Kurt Zouma. That is quite a shock. Liverpool just relied on the fake players, bit disappointing. Let's have a look at Chelsea. We noticed Sander Berge there and Yangel Herrera, a player who's on loan from Man City at the minute. So Chelsea have got Strakosha, they've signed him, must have been for big money. Ben White came for a free, Yangel Herrera, Maitland-Niles, Sander Berge, James Ward-Prowse. They've got Hakim Ziyech back. Something's gone wrong there because Hakim Ziyech shouldn't be at Chelsea. I assume that's because of the way his deal was done. Dane Scarlett leading the line for Chelsea. He's a man who will be familiar to Tottenham fans. Although I'm sure he was winding Chelsea up in an under-23 game the other day. But he's done well in his first season in the Premier League. 12 goals. I do wonder if the standard in the Premier League has dropped off because of the lack of quality players. Meaning young players like Dane Scarlett can thrive. Let's check Tottenham out. Danny Ings is the skipper, but Jose Mourinho's been sacked. What I'm going to do is I've picked out one name from every Premier League club and I'm going to see where they've gone. So for Arsenal, we're going to have a look at Aubameyang, and he has gone to Barcelona. The number 24 on his back and he's barely played. 4 appearances, 2 goals, so that's been an absolute waste of time. Only got 95 grand a week as well. He only got a 2-year deal. Jack Grealish from Aston Villa. That is not how you spell Grealish. Come on, James, do better. Jack Grealish has gone to Newcastle on 13 grand a week. He believes Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain will become a vital part of the team. I mean, Jack Grealish has had a sensational season. Well, Jack Grealish has had an okay season. 14 appearances, 5 goals, 3 assists, 4 Man of the Match awards. And only 13 grand a week. I didn't really know what to expect from this simulation, but to be honest, I thought there would just be a 1,000,001 transfers the first one, but that clearly hasn't happened. Just as I've clicked on Aubameyang's name there, you can see Sergio Aguero's gone to Barcelona, Trent Alexander-Arnold's gone to Barcelona. Big names have gone to Barcelona. They have finally been able to sign some players. But let's keep going down our list. From Brighton, Lewis Dunk has gone to Real Sociedad. That is quite a strange move. He's getting 50 grand a week, which is a lot more than Jack Grealish. Fair enough. From Burnley, Nick Pope. Where has he gone? Could be the England number 1 this summer. But on Football Manager, he's gone to Marseille, where he's doing alright. He's not the number 1, well, he's technically the number 1, but he's only played 12 times. Kept 6 clean sheets. Averaging a clean sheet every other game. For Chelsea, let's see where Mason Mount went. Probably to the house of Frank Lampard, because they just love each other, don't they? He's gone to Barcelona. Barcelona have signed some huge players. And Mason Mount is one of them, and he's done terrible. I'm going to quickly look at Barcelona and see who they've brought in. Christ, they've been busy. Barcelona have just raided the Premier League. They've brought in Mason Mount, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Fabinho, Reguilon, Calvin Phillips, Edison, Aubameyang, Aguero and Son Heung-min. I mean, one name sticks out like a sore thumb there and it's Calvin Phillips, but whatever, that's fair enough. Let's continue our journey down the Premier League to Crystal Palace. There's only one player we're going to look at, and it's Wilfried Zaha. Obviously, we know Eze's gone to Manchester United and done well, but Wilfried Zaha has gone to Germany and he's joined Augsburg. He has a preference to play in the Champions League. You'd think, considering he's a free agent, he would have got himself a Champions League move. But he's gone to Augsburg and he scored a few goals, but it hasn't really gone to plan for him. Dominick Calvert-Lewin, he's had his breakthrough season at Everton this year. A great player on Football Manager, and he's gone to Bayern Munich. I mean, I'm going to imagine he's not playing. No, he's not really playing much, but I mean, considering his competition is Robert Lewandowski, Calvert-Lewin's best bet would just be bringing in Lewandowski's bags. Let's keep going down to Fulham. Obviously, Lookman's on it. They've got loads of players who are on loan, Lookman, Loftus-Cheek, so I'm going to look at Frank Zambo Anguissa, because he's a player who's turned heads this season. and he has gone to Borussia Dortmund. These transfers are just baffling me. I mean, I was going to say he's barely played. He's played 2 games in the Bundesliga, but he's been bloody brilliant, and he's made 6 appearances off the bench in the Champions League. Why is Anguissa not playing more? Let's go to Leeds, to Rafinha, their star of the show this season. I mean, they've all been great at Leeds, but Rafinha in particular has been exceptional. But he has gone to China. He's chased the money. He's gone to Shanghai Shenhua. 12 appearances, 3 assists, an average rating of 7.58, and he is a transfer target for Borussia Dortmund. So he can exchange tales with Frank Zambo Anguissa about, not really sure what about, I don't know what they'd have in common. Jamie Vardy from Leicester, where has he gone in his old age? Real Madrid. The number 18 at Real Madrid, 7 goals in 19 appearances, 4 assists. Jamie Vardy's done very well, to be honest with himself. Finally away from the conspiracy theories of Colleen Rooney, the best detective going. Let's check Real Madrid out, because if Barcelona have signed so many players, I'm going to imagine Real Madrid have done the same. Well, only 4. Alisson, Wilfried Zaha, Jamie Vardy and Raheem Sterling. That is quite a haul. To pick 4 players from the Premier League, the best goalkeeper, probably the best holding midfielder, one of the best strikers and one of the best wingers. Real Madrid doing good business there. But let's keep going down the Premier League. Liverpool, we're going to have a look at Mo Salah, who has gone to Paris Saint-Germain. No future for him in England. He's got the number 9 at PSG, only 10 appearances. A lot of these players haven't played a lot of football. I'm going to look at PSG because we're going to assume they're a team that have signed a fair few players. Yep, they've done even more than Barcelona. Mohamed Salah was a free agent until the 11th of January. How on earth has that happened? But let's just have a look. PSG on frees have brought in Ferran Torres, Harry Kane, James Justin, Bukayo Saka, Bernardo Silva, Sadio Mane, Tariq Lamptey, Virgil van Dijk, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Kevin de Bruyne, Mo Salah, and finally Gabriel Martinelli. They've basically brought in a whole new team. They just need a goalkeeper. That is astonishing. It just shows how ripped apart the Premier League's been by this experiment, because most of the players have gone abroad. I don't know why they've gone abroad. Kevin de Bruyne we know is at PSG, so we'll not look at him. Man United, the only man we're going to look at is Bruno Fernandes, because they're basically a one-man club at this point. Of course, I can't spell Fernandes. You idiot. Bruno Fernandes has gone to Atletico Madrid. And he's playing very well. 6 goals, 3 assists in 15 appearances. Let's go down to Newcastle. Saint-Maximin is the man to look at. Adored across the country, to be honest. I mean, he's been an absolute dream since he came to England. But he's now playing in Germany for Stuttgart, which is... I mean, he's at least been there the whole season, has done okay, but surely Saint-Maximin could play for a bigger club than Stuttgart. Sheffield United, I was going to look at Sander Berge. We know he's gone to Chelsea. Southampton, James Ward-Prowse, he's gone to Chelsea as well. Tottenham, Harry Kane has gone to PSG. West Brom, Matheus Pereira is the man I want to look at. There's not a lot of stars at West Brom, but we've got to look at someone, and Matheus Pereira, or Mateus Pereira, whatever you want to call him, has gone back to Brazil. Well, not back to Brazil, because based on this, he's never actually played in Brazil, but he's playing in Brazil now. He's from Brazil, and he's playing for Grêmio, who, from previously looking at this before I actually did the video, have also got Fernandinho. Fernandinho's gone back to Brazil. They've also got Kennedy of Chelsea fame and Newcastle fame, kind of. So they've done well out of this whole thing, better than some teams. West Ham, Declan Rice has gone to Man City, and as we know with Wolves, Ruben Neves has gone to Liverpool. Okay, so that's where each club's best player has gone. What I'll quickly do now is see who the new main man is at each club. Arsenal have got Matthias Klitsch, and that's pretty underwhelming. Aston Villa's star man is another Leeds player in Liam Cooper. Brighton, they've got Alexander Lacazette, who's sulking really. Burnley brought in Kyle Walker, who spent 6 months without a club. Chelsea, it's either got to be Ward-Prowse or Sander Berge. Crystal Palace have just survived with Emile Smith-Rowe leading the charge. At Everton, they brought in Dean Henderson to replace Little Arms Jordan Pickford. Fulham's new chief creators are Pascal Gross and Pablo Hernandez, who combined have the speed of a snail that fell asleep on the pavement. Leeds got Luca Dean, but for some reason play him in centre-back. Leicester City's recruitment was crap and summed up by the fact that Moussa Sissoko was the big arrival. Liverpool have seen main man was Ruben Neves. City have got Bobby Firmino stealing the show. At Man United they've got ex-City stars in Roger and Ruben Dias doing the anti-Carlos Tevez. Newcastle, we've already seen, they somehow forced Jack Grealish to sign a contract worth basically nothing. Sheffield United didn't stay up, and that's no surprise considering their bigger rival was youth striker Ryan Edmondson from Leeds. Southampton just survived, mainly because of Andreas Pereira, which is a little bit shocking. Tottenham replaced Harry Kane with Danny Ings, which is like asking for a PS5 for your birthday and getting a GameCube instead. It's just not what you wanted. West Brom went down despite the arrival of Anthony Knockaert. West Ham allowed Danny Rose to actually kick a football for the first time in forever. And finally Wolves, who did exceptionally well, have Harvey Elliott of all people to thank. I mean, he's only about 5 years old. So there we have it. The Premier League has been torn upside down. Changes everywhere to every club. And in the end, it's West Brom, Sheffield United and Aston Villa who've gone down. It's obviously been a much closer league, especially from 10th downwards. Newcastle came 10th with 42 points. I mean, that's relegation form, really. I mean, to be in a relegation battle almost. In the top half, there's been a small, well, Leicester have been out on their own. Everton just missed out on the Everton Cup, coming 8th. But Man City, I mean, when you look at Man City's team, it's no surprise they've won the league. But they've got 99 points, almost cracking the 100-point barrier to absolutely dominate, which just shows, I mean, they've got the most money, they're willing to invest the most. I'm not really sure. But what I'm going to do is there are actually a fair few players who are still free agents. We'll go into unattached, see who is floating about. Because there are a few names that stuck out when I had a little look before. Wayne Hennessy still free agent. I mean, there are slight issues with Wayne Hennessy. Not a lot of knowledge when it comes to World War II from Wayne Hennessy, but he's an alright goalkeeper, I guess. Tom Heaton's still there. He's a good goalkeeper and doesn't have any issues with the war. Who else have we got? Charlie Masonda. He was meant to be a star of the future and it just hasn't really worked out for him. Phil Jones. All this time and Phil Jones is still a free agent. He's a wanted man. Wanted by a Chinese Super League side. Phil, just take the money and run, because a year on the breadline can't have been good for you. Joe Rodon hasn't been able to get himself a club. He's wanted by Norwich in the Championship. But there's a couple. I mean, Danny Drinkwater. No one even wants Danny Drinkwater. That is not a surprise. Dwight Gale's a free agent. Jean-Philippe Gbamin, a man who Everton fans probably can't even recognise, considering it's been so long since he actually played a game for the Toffees. But there were a couple of big names who haven't got clubs. Notably, Naby Keita, the man who got the number 8 at Liverpool, Steven Gerrard's number. He's been a free agent for a year. And the only ones that want him are Chinese clubs. That is wildly disappointing for Naby Keita. And another man who featured on the free agent list is Thomas Partey. The big signing at Arsenal last summer, again, only got interest from Chinese Super League clubs. I mean, that's baffling, considering how good he is. And he cannot get himself a club. So there we have it. We have released every single player in the Premier League. And it's been turned on its head. I mean, Man City have still won it because they've assembled an absolute Avengers-style team. But elsewhere, some of the deals have been quite surprising. Eberechi Eze, one of the stars at Man United. Sander Berge gets a move to Chelsea despite being awful at Sheffield United. Edouard Mendy, the man who is Chelsea's number 1 simply because he isn't Kepa, has got himself a move to Manchester City. This simulation is absolutely bonkers. But in the end, Man City still win. Before we go on, I'll have a quick look at who won the Champions League. Surely it can't have been an English club. It wasn't, it was PSG. I mean, of course it was PSG. They've basically got the Premier League best 11. Of course PSG finally won the Champions League. But when it comes to the Premier League, Roberto Firmino is the star of the show at Manchester City rather than Liverpool. The big names have all gone basically. They've either gone to Barcelona, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, or mainly PSG. PSG have got an absolutely sensational team. So from this experiment, the only real winners are Paris Saint-Germain and Man City, who got a Premier League title. I mean, it's impressive that Liverpool came 4th considering their forward line is Roy Delap's son and a man named Shola Shotai, who's about 7 years old, like 17. But we will leave it there. That is the end of this very, very strange simulation. That hasn't really proved anything, but it doesn't matter. It was just a little bit of fun. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you want me to do anything similar, if you want me to simulate this simulation on further, let me know in the comments below. But until next time, let me know what you think in the comments down below. As always, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Elecspo. And until next time, we will see you around.